Tēnā rā koutou, tēnā anō koutou e Ngati Manawa, Ngati Whare. Ka nui ngā mihi atu kia koutou I takahia mai te huarahi, kia tātu mai ki raro te tūnui o tō tātu nei whare. Kei whakarongo ki tēnei te pānuitanga tuatahi o tō koutou ngā ture. Nā reira tēnā rā koutou me ngā tini mate ko pikangia e koutou, tērā ko Bill Word, rātou katoa mā. Nā reira ngā mate haere. Mr. Speaker, it gives me pleasure to speak on this, the first reading of the Ngati Manawa Ngati Whare Claims Settlement Bill. I have to admit I've only been to Murupara once. That was to the tangihanga of my dear friend Pererika Twist, a colleague from the world of education who passed away unfortunately way too early, and that's what drew me to Murupara. And again, like my whanaunga over there from Ngati Hine Tauhenare says, we're looking forward to going back to Murupara, and it'll be a more joyous occasion than heading off to the tangi of a friend. Mr. Speaker, as my colleague Parekura Horomia says, this bill gives effect to the deeds of settlement in which the Crown and Ngati Manawa and Ngati Whare agree to final settlements of the historical claims of both iwi. And I read here in the notes that this is one of the many settlements the government is progressing towards its goal of setting historical treaty claims justly and durably by 2014. Now, I can say, yes, we really intend to make sure that this is a durable settlement. But the first part of that sentence saying that we're settling the claims justly. It's really hard to argue that any settlement is going to be just when we consider everything that was taken, the land, ko raupatu here, the culture, and all the negative impacts that had on the people since that time. It can never really be a just compensation when you're getting a fraction back of what was lost, not just in terms of the amount of land and resources, but the loss of language, the loss of culture. That can never be compensated for, Mr. Speaker. It's a bit like someone coming along and pinching my car and then 20 years later turning up with the hubcaps and saying, here you go, I hope you're happy with the return of your resource or asset. It's a bit like that. So, Mr. Speaker, this won't be just, but I have to acknowledge the people of Ngati Manawa, Ngati Whare, for accepting that there isn't a blank cheque to just write out a figure with as many zeros on the end as what the settlement should be worth. I acknowledge you, and also want to say that your story is our story. Be it Ngati Manawa, Ngati Whare, or whether you're like me from up Ngāpuhi there, your story is our story. The details may be different, but the general theme, the broad outline of the story is the same. And we have all suffered as a result of actions of the Crown over the last 170 odd years. And that's why it really gets on under my skin when I hear people say out there in the community, oh, these bloomin' Maoris, they just got their hands out again and they've been given millions of dollars and I wish they'd just get on with things.
You said that time, didn't you?
It annoys me when they say that without acknowledging the extent of the losses. But this is a time to move forward. This is a time to put that behind us. As much as it hurts, it is a time to put all of that behind us and move forward and use the settlement to renew the language, renew the cultural well-being of the iwi. And so I ask Ngati Manawa, Ngati Whare to take this settlement and make the most of it for the benefit of your people. Because when Ngati Manawa, Ngati Whare do well, and when all the other iwi that have received their settlements are doing well, then we are building and lifting and rising up as a people. It's not going to be easy. It hasn't been easy, but we must strive forward and upwards for the sake of our kids, our grandkids, for the years to come. So, Mr. Speaker, I'm pleased that we are working through these settlements, as unfair as I believe they are, as unfair as the quantum, as it doesn't compensate for the loss that we've experienced, as I've said, but I'm glad that we are working through these settlements so that we as a people, te iwi Māori, can move forward and progress and advance our interests. And I really do hope, because education is what I know and what I'm in Parliament to improve, I really hope that part of that settlement is set aside for the kids to improve educational outcomes, so that as many Ngati Manawa, Ngati Whare kids as possible can move through the school system successfully, can go on to university, can go on and become the business leaders and the people of influence in this country, can sit here in this house and be making decisions so that Māori never again have to go through what we've gone through in the past. So, Mr. Speaker, I could go through the litany and the length and breadth of all the issues and confiscations and all the things that have happened to these two iwi. I looked through here and I saw page after page of history. Sorry, I looked through the bill and saw page after page of history and of all the wrongs. But this isn't really a time just to relitigate. It is a time to remember, but it's not a time to relitigate all those issues, because this moment or this time is about moving forward and moving ahead, not looking back and feeling sad about everything. It's about moving forward and progressing into the future. So, as I say, Mr. Speaker, I'm really looking forward, as a member of the Select Committee, to heading up to Murupara. I know that not everybody in Ngati Manawa and Ngati Whare will be happy with what is being offered, and no doubt we'll hear from those people, and I'm looking forward to hearing their side of the story and what they want to have happen. But again, I hope that we don't get bogged down and that there's infighting and bickering about we should be scrapping over this blade of grass and not that blade of grass or whatever. We've got to make sure that we're moving forward and that we're going to get the best deal for Ngati Manawa, Ngati Whare. Mr. Speaker, it is an honour to stand and speak to this first reading. I do look forward to the Select Committee process, to the second reading, the committee stages, and then the third and final reading, so that Ngati Manawa and Ngati Whare can then move ahead into a future where their grandkids, their great-grandkids, are all successful and contributing influential people to Aotearoa New Zealand. Kia ora.
Paul.